researchers, including Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, may have just found a trace of an interstellar object in the ocean, which Loeb believes could have alien.
People are always going on about space, aliens, and what's out there in the universe. But honestly, some of the biggest mysteries are right here on Earth. And one place stands out more than anywhere else: Antarctica. It's cold, it's remote, and it's hiding secrets that'll make your spine tingle. So hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and let's dig into some of the strangest and creepiest stuff ever found in the frozen South. Think monsters hiding under the ice are scary? Nah. The real threat might be the ice itself. Nicknamed the Doomsday Glacier, this thing is massive. We're talking about a glacier the size of Florida, not a snowball, a state. And since the 1940s, it's been quietly melting, but no one was panicking until the 1970s. That's when scientists noticed it was melting way faster than before. Since then, it's never recovered. In fact, it's already responsible for around 4% of the global sea level rise, and it's just getting started. If it collapses completely, it could raise ocean levels by meters, enough to flood entire coastal cities from New York to Tokyo. And the environmental chain reaction? Total chaos. Animal habitats would vanish, weather patterns could shift, and food chains might collapse, all from one glacier breaking apart. So if you thought the world would end with zombies or a rogue AI, think again. The real endgame might come in the form of melting ice, from a place most people never even think about. In 2001, researchers using satellite imagery found something strange beneath the Antarctic ice. Huge geometric shapes stretching over a mile long. They looked like ruins, almost like an ancient city, buried for millions of years. Antarctica hasn't been ice-free for over 30 million years, so how is this even possible? Some scientists think they're just unusual rock formations shaped by nature. Others believe they might be artificial, the remains of an ancient civilization that once lived there during a warmer period. There's even speculation that this could be linked to lost cities like Atlantis. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. But still, if someone built something that massive in such a remote place, why and how? It's like finding a skyscraper in the middle of the Sahara. It just doesn't add up. We're talking about 2 kilometers of unexplained structures, and nobody has a solid answer, which just makes it even creepier. Imagine you're a tiny sea creature just chilling at the bottom of the ocean. Suddenly, an icy finger slowly drops from above, and wherever it touches, things instantly freeze. That's the Brinacle, also called the Finger of Death. And it's 100% real. This underwater icicle forms when super salty cold water leaks from sea ice and sinks. As it flows, it freezes everything in its path. Scientists caught one on film for the first time in 2011, and it looks like something from a sci-fi movie. Slow, silent, and absolutely deadly. It turns starfish and sea urchins into frozen statues, locking them in place forever. Just imagine a frozen graveyard on the ocean floor. That's the kind of the nightmare fuel nature casually cooks up in Antarctica. Aliens in Antarctica? Sounds crazy until you hear this. Back in 2015, an American flight engineer who worked at the McMurdo station between 1983 and 1997 came forward with some wild claims. According to him, he and others on the base saw silver circular objects moving through the sky, not once, but multiple times. He said they flew from one mountaintop to another at ridiculous speeds, changing directions mid-flight and moving like they had zero concern for gravity. These things weren't planes or weather balloons. They moved together, like they were communicating or scouting the area. Think about it. If you were an alien wanting to observe Earth without being seen, would you hang around New York or LA? Or would you pick the coldest, most remote continent where barely anyone lives and the sky is clear most of the time? On May 8, 1965, a young physicist named Carl Robert Disch vanished in Antarctica without a trace. He was working at the Byrd station and left the radio lab around 9:15 a.m. for what should have been a routine walk just over 2 kilometers back to the main building. Carl was well prepared. He had all the proper gear and knew the area, but he never arrived. A search party followed his footprints all the way to the airstrip, and then nothing. A brutal storm with 56 kilometers per h winds wiped out his trail. Despite using flares, radios, and even human chains to search, they found nothing. He was officially declared dead 6 days later. But here's the kicker. In 1971, 6 years after he vanished, the McMurdo station supposedly received a radio message from Carl claiming he was still alive. Officials dismissed it as a prank or interference. But who was really on the other end? And if it wasn't Carl, then why did they sound exactly like him? His case is still unsolved, like a real-life X-Files episode frozen in time. This one sounds like it came straight out of a horror movie. In 2016, a Russian scientist named Anton Padalka claimed that during an expedition to Lake Vostok, a giant freshwater lake buried under miles of ice, he and his team encountered a bizarre creature. They called it Organism 46b, a freakish 33-foot-long squid with 14 tentacles and serious attitude. Padalka claimed it could paralyze prey from a distance, mimic human voices, and even jam radio signals. According to him, it was incredibly intelligent and incredibly dangerous. They allegedly captured it after a terrifying struggle, and it was taken to a secret Russian lab for study, but the Russian government? Total radio silence. No comment, no denial, nothing. Skeptics call it a hoax, but believers think this might be one of many hidden species beneath Antarctica's icy crust, things we weren't meant to find. In one of the most extreme, frozen, lifeless parts of Earth, scientists found something shocking: bacteria that shouldn't exist. We're talking about microscopic organisms like WPS2 and AD3, discovered thriving in conditions with no sunlight, no organic food, and freezing temperatures. Instead of using light or plants, these little survivors extract energy from thin air. Literally, they metabolize hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to stay alive. That means they're basically living off air and gas, surviving in an environment where 99.9% of organisms would just drop dead. The implications? Huge. If life can exist in a place this extreme, why not on Mars, or Europa, or any of those dead planets we keep ignoring? These bacteria are redefining what life can be and where it can exist. In 2016, a massive hole the size of Switzerland opened up in Antarctica, and scientists had no idea why. It wasn't a sinkhole or a volcano, just an open patch of ocean in the middle of the ice called a polynya. It disappeared after a few weeks, only to come back in 2017, bigger than ever. Scientists were baffled. Some blamed climate change, others suggested ocean currents, and a few even whispered about something deeper, something unknown under the ice. Eventually, satellites helped track it down to a weird mix of warm water currents and storms. But even now, there's no full explanation. And the fact that no one got a close look before it vanished again? Yeah, that definitely adds to the mystery. Okay, this one's not technically in Antarctica, but it's close enough and definitely weird. The Falkland Islands, aka the Malvinas, are isolated in the South Atlantic. No bridges, no land connections, but somehow they used to be home to a type of wolf, and no one knows how it got there. Theories range from ancient land bridges during the Ice Age to floating on driftwood, seriously, or being brought by early humans. But here's the thing, there's no sign of ancient people on the islands. None. Even Charles Darwin was stumped by the mystery when he visited, and today, scientists still don't have a solid answer. The Falklands wolf remains one of evolution's strangest unsolved puzzles. Imagine pulling something out of the ocean and wondering, is this even from Earth? That's what scientists thought when they discovered a bizarre alien-looking creature in Antarctica's icy waters. At first, no one knew what it was. It looked like a floating tangle of feathers and tentacles straight out of a sci-fi movie. Turns out it's a feather star, a kind of deep-sea starfish with up to 20 frond-like arms. It moves through the water by gently waving its feathers and lives between 100 and 1,000 meters deep. It's so strange that people used to mistake it for mythical sea monsters, which begs the question, how many other creatures are hiding out there, just waiting to freak us out? Meet the sea mouse, a name that makes it sound cute and fuzzy. It's not at all. This creepy little creature is actually a type of marine worm covered in glowing bristles. It crawls across the ocean floor like something out of a nightmare, and it's a predator, hunting other worms and crustaceans. They're usually 3 to 6 inches long, but some have been found nearly a foot long. They come out more often after storms, when deep sea currents stir up the ocean floor, and when they show up, they look like angry neon space slugs. In the middle of Antarctica's frozen wasteland, there's a waterfall that looks like it's bleeding. No joke. It pours out bright red liquid, staining the snow and ice around it, and for years no one knew what it was. Dubbed Blood Falls, this creepy flow comes from a super salty underground lake trapped beneath the ice for millions of years. It's loaded with iron, and when it hits the air, it oxidizes. Basically, it rusts. That's what makes it blood red. When explorers first saw it in 1911, they thought it was some kind of alien goo or haunted ice curse. And honestly, even with the science explanation, it still feels like something out of a horror movie. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Antarctica might be cold, but its mysteries, they're red hot. See you in the next one.